Cool engineers today. Okay, let's see where we are. And I'm going to tell you, we are all on screen. Everybody wave hello. We're waiting for one Facebook channel and we're waiting. YouTube is always the last one to come on. We're on YouTube. Let's just do this. Okay, here we go. Ready? Okay, everybody.
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes away?
Pretending I have a watch.
Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
That's what I go by. Thank you to the voice of Ryan Treasure, who's been getting me on the air for so many years. I'm Bonnie D, and this is such a wonderful day. This is part 2 of my Cool Dudes very, very special predictions. Never done this before, but this was the year where I spoke with 48 cool dudes. And I want to I have 11 of you here. Jordan is back, good. And I want to thank you for sharing your life stories with me. Your origin stories were great, and sharing your interest in music and interest in everything in life. So thank you much. And I'm thrilled to have 11 you. They all showed up, Jordan. This is unbelievable. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a little bit of an opening rhyme, and then we're going to go through. You'll each get about 4 minutes for your predictions, anything in your niche, anything in your wheelhouse, however you want to phrase it. So here we go, and I think you'll enjoy this. So welcome to Cool Dudes 2026 predictions. Number 2, bright. Everybody look bright. Gazing at 2026 and beyond with optimism in sight, we hope. Bonnie D on her Scarlett Mic's live streaming hue. Everybody see my hue? I don't know if I have an aura or hue. Welcomes 11 cool dude futurists today. Josh, you can add futurist to your name with bold predictions new. Innovation is their compass. Opportunities their sail. Will their visions triumph or might some derail? Oh, but first, a quick back look at the year almost done, at cool words that joined the lexicon. There's a word for you, Barack. Some serious, some fun. Okay, here we go. Biohack joins Oxford's words of the year 2025, while dictionary.com's 6-7, you all know what that is, proves nonsense, it can thrive. Merriam-Webster's slop cites low-quality content, it's galore, as modern slang reshapes how we connect and explore. Here's some more words. Bet, bussin', mid, vibe check, and no cap also made the list. Extra, goat. Everybody know what goat is? I think you're all a goat. Greatest of all time. Okay, there we go. GRWM, get ready with me. IYKYK. I had to look this one up. If you know, you know. And spill the tea, not to be missed. So everyone raise your Java, Jack, Dom, or Earl on my Cool Dudes prediction special. The future is about to unfurl. And my annual crystal ball continues January 7th next year. Mark the date with dozens more futurists. So don't be late. Now, today's 11 cool dudes, a brilliant, bold force, will unveil their predictions, charting tomorrow's course. Visions sharper, this is for you, Rob. Visions sharper than Van Halen's blazing guitar riff. My cool dudes take the stage. Smart, fierce, and terrific. You like that, Rob?
Nice.
Yeah, I thought so. On his coffee talk with Leonard Lee, they play a lot of music. Okay, here we go. Simon Mites, you are up first. I'm putting you on speaker view, and here's your introduction. Simon Joseph Attila Mites, a man of depth and flair. Heliboarding, cliff jumping, forest explorer with care. At EY, he founded Carbon for Sustainability Creation. His new ventures, Nature Credits, driving biodiversity innovation. Hope you like that, Simon. What'd you think?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Simon Mites in 4 sentences. Well done.
There you go. Okay, I'm putting you on speaker view. Let's start the party. It's up to you, Simon. Kick it off.
So I brought you 3 major predictions here. So the first of them is AI will help us not only see, but hear when nature is thriving and biodiversity is increasing. So this would mean AI can turn, on the one hand, sounds and satellite images into hard data. So we will listen to ecosystems through smart sensors. We will picking up bird songs, insect activity, animal calls, and so on. We'll identify these species and how they are improving, hopefully. And we will see biodiversity changes from space through AI-powered satellite analysis. And the interesting part here is that this is not just nice to know, this will actually build the foundation for the future nature credit market. So you won't only be able to say, hey, we have restored a habitat here or there on paper. This is actually what helps us to prove that the species are returning and generate that trust that is very much needed in that new developing market. Prediction number 2, AI and geospatial analysis will enable companies to monitor biodiversity impacts and risk for each of their production sites and supply chain. So you just have to imagine that for each office, for each factory, for each site you have, each of those will carry a nature impact or risk label, like similar to the carbon footprint, maybe even as visible as the energy efficiency label on your fridge. So this will help you. This will be enabled by satellite imagery, combining satellites, imagery, ecological data, and produce, for example, a heat map throughout your supply chain facilities. So the super cool thing. That's just one example. And now moving on to the last prediction that I brought for you today, which is AI will become nature's watchdog. So we're turning a bit back to the greenwashing issues that we had. So AI will literally help us to sniff out those companies that are using greenwashing, that are making ESG claims that are not built on the truth, and AI will help us to detect those. It will scan thousands and thousands of reports and data, check for inconsistencies, for low data integrity, and then it will flag exactly those people, those brands, those companies that make claims that they can't verify. And those will be identified. And of course, on the other hand, the good ones that really protect nature will rise. So here you go, my 3 predictions for the upcoming years.
Thank you very, very much, and congratulations and best wishes on your new organization. I've had you and some of your
Thank
colleagues on this show a couple weeks ago, and looking forward to more in 2026. Thank you. Let's go to number 2. Bill Pugh is here. Bill, I'm putting you on speaker view, and let's see what you've got. Go ahead.
So I'm thinking that what we're going to see definitely next year and in the years to come is a much better understanding and a reduction in the buzzword. Digital twins are going to start being more prevalent, especially with the introduction of AI. Even though in a lot of instances digital twins have used AI all along, you're going to see a lot more of that. And it will be a movement from just the spot. So you'll hear digital twins for buildings, digital twins for cities, digital twins for utilities. It's going to be a uniform thing. You're going to see a movement from just those spot solutions into more of a citywide and regional impact. These things will drive themselves from more of an operational perspective into the planning realm, as well as interacting with the community. The benefits are going to be realized by both the city in terms of the 3 pillars, I'll say, right? Livability, workability, and sustainability. And you'll see that wrapped around that. So it'll become much more than just a buzzword, and the other tools, that being AI, machine learning, and geospatial awareness, will become part of the solution as opposed to just singular tools.
Thank you, Bill. I didn't read your intro, and I'm going to do it right now. I want to make sure I got that one. From the heart of LA, where the streets set the stage. If by Kipling was Bill's compass at his fourth grade age. With an EE degree, he built electron guns and chased patent dreams. Now True North Software Solutions, his bold venture gleams. Bill, how's that? Sorry it was late.
That's awesome. That's the truth.
There you go. True North. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And let's go to number 3, Rob Tiffany. And I'm going to read your intro now. I'm so excited to have so many of you here. I'm just all kabobbled here. Okay, from Texas to tech, Rob's talents align. IoT to digital twins. He's making tech shine on IoT Coffee Talk. He keeps the convo fresh. His AI and edge wisdom, banter, and music all mesh. Rob, I hope you like that?
I love that. That's really nice.
Good. Okay. I'm putting
Outstanding.
you on speaker view. Talk to us.
All right, I'm going to talk to you. Let's mash together AI and private cloud. Here's my prediction, and I'm going to tell you actually how to fulfill the prediction too.
Okay.
So obviously, there's lots of excitement around AI. People are using, online chatbot tools and agents, whether it's Claude or ChatGPT or whatever. But there's this notion in the corporate world, in large organizations, about they've got their private corporate data, and they don't necessarily want to leak that data to public large language models, right? Because that's happened before, and as soon as you put your private company data up there, it's available for the whole world to see, right?
Yep.
And so that's no bueno. So what's going to happen to that? Well, it's going to drive this renaissance in private cloud. And you may have heard terms, there's public cloud like AWS and Azure and GCP. There's this notion of private cloud, which is different than traditional IT, where you rack in servers and have PCs and printers, kind of like you're on like you're on Office Space. Private cloud acts like a public cloud. It's kind of uses this hyper-converged infrastructure that's kind of weird, but it acts like the public cloud. It's easy for people to point and click on-prem. And then in between there too, you've got this hybrid cloud where you have connectivity between private and public, and you're moving workloads and data. Okay, so here's what's going to happen in order to keep private data private, but still get the benefits of AI, right? What folks are going to do, and it'll start with the largest companies who can afford this. They're going to build out their own kind of AI type infrastructure in their own data centers or their co-location facilities. And so you can imagine the kind of infrastructure it takes to train potentially a large language model. But here's what they're going to do. They're going to download pre-trained large language models and small language models as well. Because there's a lot of pre-trained ones. I'm not going to use the term open source because there's actually no such thing as an open source LLM. It's still a black box. You actually don't know what the data came from. We know where it came from at the internet. But there's open weights. So you're going to download this thing on your infrastructure, and it's pre-trained, so it gets to do that magic. And then you're going to do something called fine-tuning, or you might do some RAG, but it's like post-training. You're going to start training that thing with your company's data, your organization, all the information, everything you've ever done in your company. If anyone's ever experienced the deal, has anyone here ever uploaded a PDF, a Word document, a spreadsheet, or whatever, to one of the chatbots out there for large languages? If you've done it, once you've done it, what happens? It instantly becomes an expert about whatever the document was you uploaded, and you can ask it any questions, and it's magic. So now imagine you're a big company. I'm going to upload every document, every PowerPoint, every database table, everything that ever happened in the history of that company into my own private AI running in my private cloud. And I'm going to create this kind of level of super intelligence or an enterprise brain for my company. And so now, remember, anyone heard the term company memory? A lot of times, you hear about when people move on and you lose some of that tribal knowledge, that company memory about the life of the company. So now anything that's ever happened in that company is going to be in this enterprise brain, on-prem, controlled, air-gapped potentially. And now new employees, old employees, they can ask questions and find out anything they want to know about the company. It'll make them faster decisions about the business they're in. And so that's what's going to happen. I'm already seeing it in my numbers when we're doing surveys and things at IDC. And so it's a trend. It's going to be coming, but it's important to know how to do it. And so I briefly kind of told you how to do it. So go have fun with your own LLM or small language models on-prem. Go knock yourself out.
Thank you. That's fascinating. And I did speak with someone a couple weeks ago who is doing that for their company, where they are training it to become their own, shall we say, personal company LLM that's contained. I don't know if
Hmm.
they're going to air gap it, but it's all about that company. And the idea that Rob and everybody we know, when people leave a company who've been longtime employees for whatever reason, they take knowledge out the
Mm.
door that wasn't always preserved, captured, and accessible in the company. So if you can gather that and keep it and preserve it, you've got a basically a lore of intelligence, good,
Yeah.
bad, or ugly, that
It's
belongs
like
to the, yep.
it's like having a library on Trantor.
There you go. There you go. Thank you very much, Rob. Very, very interesting. Appreciate you being here. Let's go to Serge Hoffman, our gentilhomme à Paris. And I'll read this for you, Serge. After years at SAP, Serge is now CEO of his own creative domain, a musician composing music scores for movies with melodious refrain, for Cirque du Soleil, for opera stars, and Parisian house plants too. He skis, he kite surfs, he wing foils where vacation skies are blue. Serge, I hope you enjoyed that. Where are you? There you are. Serge, I'm putting you on speaker view, and why don't you give us your predictions? Go.
Thank you, Bonnie, and that's a really great summary of what you know out of me. Yeah, hello everybody. My vision regarding AI and for the coming years is a kind of summary of what Simon just said about the way that AI will help us to go into domains that were not visible so far. And also, as Bill was mentioning, that is a buzzword. It is a buzzword that everybody use every day now in various media for various purposes, including cloud on public cloud or private cloud, Rob, right? But it is used for everything. And I think what will become more important now is to really be able to use it as what it is, which is a tool. It's not here to replace humanity. Let's stop with this fantasy. You know, it's just a tool, and there will be people able to use that tool and the others. Okay, so regarding my focus now, as Bonnie said, I was working 24 years in high tech at SAP, and I was really focusing on company data, right? And now I'm more focusing on composing emotions with musicians. And so, yes, I'm using AI not to compose things, but to understand the intrication of harmony and melody to bring the best out of what I can, depending on what the director asks or the audience asks. And what I know is that AI cannot bring you emotion. For sure, you can ask to compose a tango with a type of the Beatles or Bach or Mozart, whatever. You press a button and there you go. But it has no emotion, and you can feel it. The same way that you can have the same for a picture, a photography, or even a text. It can be at the mode same like this order or this one, but it has not the human emotion that a real musician can bring with his instrument or her instrument. So what I'm trying to do now is to go really deep into nature, and that could be another opportunity, Bonnie. As you know, I'm composing music coming from the plants, and I'll be happy to discuss that and show to you and explain how it works, capturing the energy, the electricity that goes to the plants, which help them to work through the various seasons, but that's another topic, and then bringing that to life on stage with real musicians in harmony. So I'm building new programs for to play this music live with musicians, because I think what is important is to use this tool AI to continue the life of artists, because in the days that we know, the time that we know, everybody needs the art and our artistic view to rest a little bit and to live in a world that is not black or white, but it's just a time when you pause on emotions and you rest and you enjoy what the beauty nature can bring.
Lovely. And I want to tell everybody you were all on the Cool Dude Show and the opening music, So You Want to Be, my lyrics, and Serge is the one who composed the music, and he plays the music and he does the singing, the vocal. So you all know the work of Serge Hoffman, and his music has been played by Cirque du Soleil, and he's composing for orchestras and for chamber music and for opera stars all over the world. And he's a very interesting person. If y'all want to get in touch with him, you've got his email in my list now. Thank you very much, Serge. Bienvenue et merci. And by the way, where have you been foil surfing recently? Anywhere?
In Madagascar, yeah.
Okay, there's an interesting thing also. Simon, you might want to find out about biodiversity in Madagascar and go foil surfing with Serge. There you go. Trying to make a shidduch here. That's a Yiddish word for
Yeah.
putting people together. Okay, let's go. Jack Gold is next. Welcome, Jack. And I'm going to read your intro here. And okay. From Rochester's heart, cold winds were his start. Then CB radios to semiconductors to procurement art. From DEC to Meta VP, then tech industry analyst Jack became. He founded J Gold Associates, which proudly bears his name. Jack, I hope you like that.
Wow. Wow. Can I use that, Bonnie?
Maybe. There's a small fee, but you're a friend of the family, so it'll go at a discount. Okay,
Oh,
I'll
there
give
we
a
go.
group discount. Jack, welcome. I'm putting you on speaker view. What are your predictions, please?
Great. Thank you. So, I don't know why everyone's talking about AI. It's so last year, but let me do a little bit of AI as well. Let me start at the micro level. When we talk about AI today, most of it is about large systems in the cloud running on NVIDIA GPUs using gigawatts, hundreds of gigawatts of power, which we don't know where we're going to get. We're predicting that within the next 2 to 3 years, what's going to happen is they're going to be moving from these massive models down to inference-based systems. And what that means is that they're going to be pre-trained models running on much smaller devices, including much smaller chips. So NVIDIA is certainly not going to go away. They're going to do very well over the next multiple years, but we're going to see a lot more companies come into the semiconductor fold offering their chips to process a lot of these AI workloads. And that includes the major cloud providers like AWS and Microsoft and Google and others building their own chips. What that means is that for companies trying to run AI workloads, the costs are going to go down fairly dramatically because these things are going to be much more cost efficient for inference workloads. We're also going to see a lot of those workloads move to edge compute, that is actually putting AI capable systems at the source of where you want to actually run that capability. So we're going to see a lot of movement in the semiconductor space at the macro level. Moving up a level from the enterprise perspective, we're looking at a lot of enterprises thinking about putting agents in place, whether it's in HR or whether it's in customer service or whether it's in payroll or whatever it is, to try and, shall I say, eliminate is not the right term, but limit the expansion of the jobs that they need to put in place to actually grow their business. The problem with agents is that what a lot of people are trying to do with these agents is just wrong. What they're trying to do is build agents that replace me, replace Bonnie, replace Rob, and don't look at how agents can ultimately affect the workflow within the organization. In order to best utilize AI, it's not just about building agents and using LLMs or SLMs, as Rob said. It's also about modifying the workflow to best use those agents to impact your efficiency and your capabilities within your organization. And I find that most projects that fail, and there are a lot of them, there have been statistics that say 80 to 90% of AI projects and corporations fail today, are primarily because, for two reasons. One, they haven't fully integrated all their internal data, which is a different issue, but also because they haven't modified their workflow to take maximum use of AI. And there's one other prediction I'd like to make, which is kind of on the negative side, but also around agents. And that is that security impact from agents over the next 2 to 3 years is going to be dramatic. And the dramatic use of AI agents by the bad actors out there are going to fundamentally change how they try to come in and hack our systems. It's going to be much easier for them. Today, it's a mostly manual process. But 2 or 3 years from now, agents are going to be all over the place trying to get into our accounts, trying to look like Bonnie or Jack or Rob or James trying to log into my systems, trying to imitate my mother calling me and saying, hey, I need your help with something. It's going to be a real challenge. And from a corporate perspective, the security teams, the SecOps folks, are going to have a real challenge trying to keep those folks at bay. So AI is going to be very useful over the next few years for a lot of companies and for a lot of personal use. There's also going to be a lot of negative effects as well as with any technology. Name one that comes on board. There's always positive and negative. So I hate to end with a negative, but that's the world we live in.
I don't think that's a negative. I think that's a reality check. Let's just keep it at that level, okay? And I will tell you, I don't know if any of you are the recipient of my largesse, but apparently this year I have bought watches for some people for $999. I have bought all kinds of, I've almost bought cars for people, and I keep getting thank yous, and keep getting told that this is being charged to one of my visas, my Amazon card, and I'm very grateful that I've been able to buy gifts for so many people. In other words, I was hacked, and there's hacking coming on, Jack, from so many sources, whether it's AI generated or not. It's already there, and we all get those bizarre emails, and we now have to learn the phishing with a PH. We have to learn to look, is that logo real? Were there misspellings? Were there typos? Was it really FedEx? Was it really MasterCard? And we all are on the alert. So, Jack, that wasn't a negative at all. I just consider that a reality check. So thank you for that. Okay, we'll leave it there. And now let's go to next is Dr. Josh McConkey. Josh, here's your intro. From rented roots to the great open sky, Colonel Joshua M. Blackjack McConkey's vision rose high. He's batted with the Mariners. He was chief of aviation medicine, too, an ER doc and best-selling author. His leadership is strong and true. What do you think, Josh?
Oh, very nice. Thank you very much.
I'm very happy you're here. I figure you're busy in the ER, but glad you're taking time out. So I'm putting you on speaker view. Why don't you regale us with your predictions, Josh?
So yeah, so hopefully this one is going to be pretty impactful for everyone. It's something that everyone has exposure to at some point. By the time you're coming to see me, for a lot of people, it's their worst day ever. It's kind of a nightmare scenario for coming to your emergency department. But I just want to talk about some of my predictions, sticking with that AI theme, is that AI is having a significant impact in our healthcare system. So the first prediction is that it's really going to revolutionize a lot of healthcare. And you'll see changes just in medical documentation. I do a lot of telemedicine in addition to my clinical medicine in the emergency department. And they're already getting into charting, even a little bit of decision making at times, which is a little bit suspect and a little sketchy with healthcare. I think the second prediction on that is going to be it will not replace doctors. What we do is crazy and complex. And just the algorithms that you're working through, people throw wrenches into everything. So nobody reads the textbook. Nobody comes in with those classic symptoms. You're always making decisions. I talked to some of that about that in my book as well, where when you're overcoming obstacles and making decisions in healthcare, you're choosing the lesser of two evils, or sometimes the lesser between 10 different evils when you're making life and death decisions in the emergency department. And AI is going to play a role with the ordering and logistics and some of the documentation, but it is not going to replace physicians. It's just too complex and there's lives at stake. So it'll have an impact in some primary care. I think the third one, and didn't want to talk a lot. Hopefully you have some questions, or if anybody wants to make any comments, I'm going to open that up.
We're
But the
way ahead of
third-
schedule, so take your time.
There we go.
Ahead. Go
And
ahead.
the third one I wanted to chat about is that my leadership book, I've turned that into a children's book series.
What?
So Be the Wait series. I've got the copy of it right here. You can probably see it behind me. Let's see how this turns out. So I have turned this into a children's book series. And the prediction is that I hope we have an impact across the country. And for the whole generation that has really struggled, I call them the COVID generation, that last half of Gen Z. And as an emergency doctor, I see all that anxiety and the depression and a really alarming rise in suicides. I'm hoping that the earlier we get involved, like with this children's book series, we're going to give kids the tools of leadership and integrity, accountability, and building those resiliency skills that have really lacked. I think the older generations look at them as like, oh my gosh, they're lazy and they're weak. That's not helpful, right? Like back in my day, we need to do something to help this generation out now. And so that's something I'm very passionate about with this book series and my nonprofit organization, Weight Behind the Spear Foundation. So I'm very hopeful, and my prediction is that we're going to save some lives and make a big difference for this next generation of Americans to be our future leaders.
Thank you very much. Question for you. How do you turn leadership books into children's stories? Do you have characters in them? Is it how do you do that?
It was very fun. Now, when I was starting off, I had the idea, like, how do you teach a 5-year-old integrity? Like, how do you teach a 5 or 6-year-old about leadership? So I was very fortunate. I was able to team up with Joe Yakovetic. He is a world-class illustrator at Disney.
Wait a minute, hold on. Somebody's talking in the background. Can everybody just mute except Josh, please? Everybody just mute real fast. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll mute a couple. Go ahead.
world-class Disney illustrator, Joe Yakovetic. And so if anybody followed, did anyone read the books, the Mercer Meyer books, Little Critters, growing up? They may or may not have.
Charles
But
did. Charles is nodding. Okay,
there
we
we
got
go.
one
So
there.
we've got like this little squirrel in there as our character that's kind of throughout the book. And it just starts off, you don't have to be the fastest and the strongest. You just have to have heart and care and genuinely care about people. And so teaching some of these leadership skills with book number 1, the second book is going to be based on more perseverance, and then we get to integrity and accountability. But we get like 32 very fun illustrations here. And just amazing illustrator. Joe had done Little Mermaid, Lilo and
Oh.
Stitch. Like if you just Google his name and look that up, it's mind blowing. I can't believe I even landed him for this book, but he felt so passionate about what we're doing here because I could never have afforded him otherwise. So yeah, he's on the team, and you guys be watching. We're gonna hopefully do some great things.
Thank you very much. That's very encouraging. Yes, we need good role models and we need integrity. Let's just go with that. I'm going next to Barack Engel. And Barack, I'm going to read your intro and let's see how we do. At 7, they tested. Barack's IQ did brilliantly soar. He sought coding, security, tech innovations galore. Israel's Technion to WebEx, then writing a novel carried him beyond. The Crack in the Crystal waves a Dungeons and Dragons fantasy mystery thriller wand. Barack, I had to squeeze a lot in there. How'd I do?
You did great. Honestly, the whole IQ thing was an anecdote, not a. I don't lead with it, but thank you.
I do. And you also said you were bored in school because you were so brilliant. But I'm putting you on speaker view now. Why don't you regale us with your predictions? Go ahead.
I will start with the prediction I made for myself coming into this, which was that by the time I get to speak, if I tried to be clever about things, I will run out of predictions. So I decided to take a different tack and go from least outrageous to most in completely different things that are not always related to what I do. So the least outrageous is in the world of investing. I think that because of the whole SpaceX IPO thing, I think that finally space will become the new hype generator. The whole notion of space industries. We had the IPO of Voyager Space earlier this year. SpaceX is coming next year. I think people are going to have this trend moment in the world of investing, and everybody's going to start pouring more and more dollars into the general space sector. And it's a new sector in the investing world, and I think it's going to attract a lot of attention, and it might create a bigger hype generator or the beginning of a bigger hype curve than AI has. Second, again, I'm going from least outrageous to most. The second one is in the world of pop culture. I know you love that, Bonnie.
Yes.
I am predicting one of the words of the year for next year. So this year we were introduced in the tech world to vibe coding. But when you start seeing things happening around you, there is now vibe investing. There is vibe hacking, which I think Jack spoke about. There's vibe management. How many companies do I see starting to do that? Oh, ChatGPT, how should I figure out my next quarter? The vibe is going to be everywhere. We're going to have vibe everything, and vibe is going to be one of the words of the year for 2026. Moving on to a more outrageous prediction is my book is going to finally be recognized as one of the greatest D&D inspired fantasy books ever. And people are going to fall in love with it, and it will be timed perfectly with the release of a related second book in the same series and perhaps an audiobook. So it's going to be awesome. And then, Netflix is want to do a limited series based on it. That's the third prediction. And the most outrageous prediction, because somebody has to make it, and it's going to be me, and then I'm going to be on video. And when it happens, everybody's going to say, oh my goodness, the seer. that was brought on Bonnie's, series, and Bonnie, you will be recognized as the identifier of this year. 2026 is the year that we're finally going to meet aliens.
I want to get a reaction around the table. I see nods.
They're
I
not
see, come on,
illegal
everybody,
aliens.
wake up, everybody. Wait, wait a minute. Who are they? How will we meet them? Will we each have our own alien?
They will make contact. Yeah.
Will I have my own alien? Oh, I've dated a couple of them
I
already,
can't
but
tell you any more than that, but this is it. It's now on video, and when it happens, yeah, it's gonna be I will be able to lay claim to being the person who said it publicly first.
thank you very much. And by the way, that was nice the way you wove the book promo in there. That was very, very slick, Barack. Very,
I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd doing marketing. What did you expect, right?
there you go. I thought that was great. Thank you so much. We're going to move on to Ron Roel. And Ron, I'm going to do your opening here in Brooklyn. Ron started, then followed Long Island's tide. Through though science beckoned, Ron, the press opened his eyes wide. From Yale to Newsday's Act Two to a champion of aging, he now hosts the 45 Forward podcast, informative and engaging. Ron, how'd I do? Oh, you're muted. You're muted. I muted you. Go ahead, because you were coming on. Unmute. Unmute. You're still muted. We need your audio. You got to unmute. You're talking and nothing's coming out. We're going to have to move on to somebody else, but we want you.
Here we go. Here
There
we go.
you go. Oh, thank goodness gracious. How'd I do with the opening? Was that good?
You did great. You did great. And unfortunately, my issue is technology. Using it properly.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm putting you on speaker view. Talk to us.
Okay, very good. So my niche is basically in helping people what I do call aging successfully, with all the opportunities, but also with all the challenges and so forth. And of course, there are lots of opportunities with our increased longevity. But as we get older and older, there are also things we have to take care of. So one of the areas that I cover that is clearly expanding is the area of home care. Everyone wants to age in place. They want to stay in their homes, but that's not that easy these days. So, I don't have a specific, my general concept is that there's going to be a huge expansion in products and services for helping people stay at home successfully. So some of them are really pragmatic. I think, there are ways in which you can help people as they get older, like turn on lights automatically, use their various devices like Siri and so forth to do things around the home. There's going to be an increase in devices to improve fall detection, because that's a big problem. One of the things that is besides having people wanting to age in place, there aren't people aging solo. Solo aging is a bit. About a third of our population, we don't think about it, but they're aging by themselves. So there needs to be devices to help keep them safe in the home, and that includes things to provide medical and technical services to the home. So there's going to be an expansion in services, especially telehealth services in the home. And then the other area, which I guess would involve AI for the home, would be that people need information about how to do things, how to find things, especially in the area of caregiving. So there are just a ton of questions, and people, and they're all different types of experts. So you're going to have services that are going to be able to connect lots of issues for home care. Expansion of the chat GPT, things like people can just ask questions, and a lot of times they have crises. So I think there's going to be huge use of AI for education, for caregiving in the home. And to another point, people mentioned the area of fraud. So I think it's, a huge amount of fraud, financial fraud is instigated against seniors. So they're going to use this, and they have sort of access to the home. That's where they're most vulnerable, in the home. So I think they're going to use AI to try to basically help seniors prevent fraud. The other area that I just want to touch on is, I think, just like we want to stay in our homes as long as possible, is the area of mobility. Americans, there's a book years ago called The Moving American. We just want to move. and it's not in the Bill of Rights, but we want we want to be able to drive, and this, as we know, becomes a problem as we get older. So I think the self-driving movement is going to be driven by seniors who want to stay in their cars, and you're going to have to find ways to make them safer and make them more usable by older people. So they're already, some car manufacturers are making adaptations for older drivers. But I think this is going to be a huge expansion as more of the population gets older, and this is happening faster than people think. So by the early 2030s, just as our Social Security and trust funds reserves are being depleted, we will officially have more people over 65 than under 18. So this is a huge market.
Thank you very much. I hope there was some good news in there. I think there was.
No, I think the
Self-driving
good news
cars.
the good news is that there's a lot of people working on using technology to help us as we get older, and
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. That is, and understanding it, and I think they're more savvy seniors in terms of tech than we think there are. And if they're
correct.
not savvy, they need to have somebody help them do that. And YouTube's great for that, as well as everybody here on the panel. Okay, everybody, we're going to welcome Charles Brakefield now. And Charles, here's your opening. From Austin to Skeet in Europe, Charles' passions did roam. Comic books to telecom circuits, now techno thriller are his home. Charles and Roxburgh, the late beautiful Roxburgh, co-penned the Enigma series Bold, turning cybersecurity and espionage grit into compelling fiction gold. Charles, I hope you like that.
I like that. Any shameless advertising for me is always welcome.
Okay, I'm putting you on speaker view. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. Well, let me just start off with the 1990s when the internet was just getting off. Everybody showed up with an idea, and one analyst said that you can find anything and everything on the internet except profits. I believe we're at the same crossroads with the AI, with the huge investments and no profitability in a lot of different areas. I mentioned earlier that 80% of the AI projects are failures, so we wanted to take a look at this, and we've started some conversations with some venture capitalists, and we want to pioneer money-making applications and business models not yet envisioned to bring stable revenue to the AI world. So our first prediction would be AI for reversed horoscopes. The product would be astrological gaslighter. The niche, people who love horoscopes but are tired of them being too accurate. The AI solution would be personalized.
Wait a minute, Charles, don't step on the laugh. Everybody, okay, you can all, some of you are muted. Okay, go ahead, continue now.
Apologies. All right, so personalized anti-horoscopes that generate deliberately wrong predictions to make your life seem better by comparison. Today's Mercury is in retrograde. Expect a promotion and a surprise inheritance.
Okay, this is it, Charles. You've won the podcast. We're done. Everybody, walk away. We are done.
Hey, this is taking me some. I mean, I've got Anderson and Horowitz and Sequoia lined up to be able to invest in this stuff, guys. And I told them you've got to wait until I've talked to these people on the Bonnie show because they get right of the first round of funding.
How many Bitcoins can we send you, Charles?
Yeah.
Charles, give me two more and then we got to move on. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the inheritance. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. AI-powered ghostwriting for awkward text. The product, the coward's quill. The niche, people who overthink every text message to the point of existential crisis. The solution would be this.
We lost your audio, Charles. We lost your audio. We can't hear you. Start talking again.
Right.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Analyzer.
Yes. Lost you again.
We lost you again, Charles. We're having trouble with your audio. Move away from your mic a little bit and see if that helps. Go ahead. Give us one more.
Let's see, ghost mode in the AI world where it sends text for you and then gaslights you into believing you never sent it at all. Emergency, oops, wrong person button. That instantly replaces the text with a mime that if you accidentally sent, I can't stop thinking about you to your boss instead of your crush. Um, and the tagline that I would just love for this business model was for when hey is too much commitment and K is too cold. All right, the last one, because Bonnie's going to expire from laughing. Um, AI for competitive napping. All right, the product may be called the Snooze Olympian. The niche is for people who treat naps like a sport and want to optimize every second of unconsciousness. The solution? An EEG headband that tracks your nap score based on REM cycles, snore decibels, and how quickly you fall asleep after hitting the pillow.
That's for Ron for aging in place. Go, go ahead, Charles. Finish that one up. Go.
AI nap coach that yells motivational phrases like, you can sleep through this meeting, push harder. And leaderboard integration so you can compete with friends, family, or strangers in global nap offs. Tagline: gold medals are for losers, champions nap.
Thank you, Charles.
We think that this will help jumpstart the business model for AI with very powerful business models. And the first round of funding, as I'd indicated, there'll be
Okay, we know who your funders are. Thank you very much. I have to move on. That was great. Let's go to, we've got Jordan next. Everybody knows Jordan, my engineer for the Voice America Media Business Channel on Wednesdays. Jordan, here's your opening. From Santa Maria sun to Lompok's flame, music and beats became Jordan's lifelong game. Hip hop, audio education, and travels have taken him far. A savvy sound engineer, he spins podcasts that reach us where we are. Jordan, I hope you like that. You're muted.
So muted here.
There you go. A little bit louder. We need to hear you. You're our sound engineer. Go ahead. Shout it out. We're ready for your predictions. Jordan.
So my prediction is with AI. I'm gonna hop on the AI bandwagon. Um, the audio industry has been seeing a lot of AI artists recently. And I think that with the more creation and more that artists have, we've seen like a country song that has made it to the top Billboard top charts that's all AI produced. I think that we're eventually going to end up seeing more laws and like legislation based around the AI generated uh, compositions. Um, and possibly and hopefully even like sub charts for those. So instead of just seeing, the country song popping up on Billboard for country song, top 10 country song, you're going to start seeing like charts for just AI artists and AI genre based music, um, as well as like the um, laws going into it with there being so much of kind of talk around using a lot of these generated programs, and there's like copyright issues. So we're going to start seeing more legislation based around that, and based around, I think, even broken down to how much AI is being used within those compositions. Um, because it's like Serge was saying, it's like a lot of these are tools that are being used, but they aren't replacing um, actual musicians. But say like a electronic song, you could kind of make an electronic song kind of based off of that, and say 80% of that is being AI generated, then that would go in its own like audio category versus a kid in his bedroom using it to come up with ideas that he is then building off of those AI generated compositions and then adding on to those, and it being, 5 to 10% of the song being kind of AI generated is where I think like the AI is going to start pulling us, as far as the audio goes. Um, my second prediction is the video game market, I think, is going to change massively in the next 2 to 3 years. With companies now, such as like Microsoft and Sony, are now bringing their exclusives to the other consoles. And with PC gaming getting so big, and then now them bringing their own storefronts to PCs, I think we're going to stop seeing so much of individual companies pushing out their own like own hardware versus just like hardware that's going to be able to kind of run everything. And you're going to start, instead of seeing PlayStations being sold, you'll start seeing just like the software for PlayStations being sold. So if you just have a computer, you can start just getting your own storefronts and not so much as the hardware being pushed for those hardware and spending, $500 on a PlayStation to only play those games. Now buying your, PC that it will be able to run your different storefronts as you start paying for those. Most likely subscription based as everything else has been going.
Thank you very much. Very, very interesting. Appreciate that. And let's go to our final guest. He's been waiting patiently. James Mueller is here. James, here we go. James found his soul in the artist's domain. DC and Paris praise his work on canvas that was once plain. Author of the Confessions of St. Augustine, 3 volumes deep. Now at Middle Verde with Apache kin, promises to keep. James, I hope you enjoy that, and we're ready for your predictions. Go. You're muted. Unmute. We've got his tech person there to unmute him. Thank you very much. Go ahead. There we go. Okay, James, you're up.
Can't see me. Why not?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Am I supposed to see myself here?
James, we need you to go.
Well,
We're
if you
almost
can
at the
see
end
me,
of the show. Yeah, we
if
can
you
see
can
you,
see-
honey.
Yep. That's also important. Okay, I want to speak in terms of art in a general sense. From the beginning of recorded time, art, in a sense, has been pendulum or moves in spirals. In other words, it goes back and forth. If you were to trace all the art movements, once they were conscious of time, like a new century, they're aware of a change, and the art would reflect it, but they wouldn't necessarily catch up on it until maybe the second or third decade. For example, in the 40s, when they had noir, film noir, it was because they couldn't afford anything but black and white. Later on, the French picked up on the fact that it had a certain theme and style. Even though some of these movies were cranked out in a matter of days, then it became called film noir. If you were to go back and look at all the movements of art, most of them occur in about the second or third decade where they start to realize there's a pattern. For example, back when I used to teach in college, I read a passage from Sinclair's Lewis, Main Street, which won Pulitzer Prize. And this was the late 60s when you had the any self-respecting radical, which they were, would be either wearing a Che Guevara beret or be quoting Mao Zedong or had appeared at Woodstock. So I read a passage from Sinclair Lewis's Main Street and asked them, what decade was this written in? They all said the 60s. Okay, my point is there are patterns in the art. Time magazine in the year 2000 picked the best works of art in the 20th century. For example, the best novel was Ulysses by James Joyce, a very radical change from the previous century and what has been done before to a certain extent. And done before by other writers. Stearns, for example, Tristan Shandy had the same kind of free association. My point is, he had a new spin on it. Best poem, T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. Again, a radical change. Best painting, Painted Room by Matisse.
James, I want to interrupt. You're almost out of time, but do you have a prediction for 2026 on art? We'd love to hear it.
Art will change radically just because of the pattern of art itself. It will be much more daring because of all the things all of you guys are talking about. We will have far more advantages and use them. Now, I don't understand them, but I appreciate them. And because of you, my whole art style and the way I have created has, well, for example, if it weren't for you guys, I'd be still working on a manual typewriter and be happy. But because of the fact you have opened up doors I never could have thought about years ago, it changed my whole writing style. Even my art, I can combine original paintings and cannibalize them, put them all together in a whole new art form, all based on what I've done. But I can do it now because of what you are doing, which I do not understand. Period. I don't want to understand. As long as you guys do, I'm willing to pay it. Whatever it costs, I'll pay it. I don't want to do it. I'm the idea man. So that's what
James, thank you. Very, very good. Sit up a little higher. We're losing you off the bottom of the screen. We want to see you. There you go. There you go. Thank you. We can see you. I want to go around the table. We're almost out of time. I'm going to call your name. Everybody unmute real fast. I muted a couple of you. Rob unmute, Jack unmute, Serge unmute. There we go. I want to know, what is your favorite holiday drink you're going to be having in the next 2 weeks? Quick. What's your favorite? Rob, talk.
Red wine.
Any particular kind?
Cabernet Sauvignon.
All right, there we go. Serge, comment ça va? What do you be drinking?
Red wine as well.
Okay, any particular flavor?
No, not yet.
House wine for red. Le Rouge, pour Serge. Charles, what are you drinking, Charles?
Chardonnay.
Chardonnay. Okay, we're going the other way. Jack Gold, what are you drinking?
Pinot Noir.
Oh, my goodness. James, what are you drinking?
I'm a boar, carrot juice.
Okay. Ron, what are you drinking?
Either Chardonnay or a good Pinot Noir.
Oh, my goodness. Nobody has hot chocolate, hot toddies, nothing. Okay, go ahead. Barack, what are you drinking?
So it's a drink of my own making, which I call Israeli coffee. And it is a shot of Glendronach Scotch, an Americano, and whipped cream on top.
Oh, my kind of guy. Bill, what are you drinking?
Colonel E.H. Taylor Bourbon.
All right, a bourbon man. Simon, what are you drinking and what's Adam drinking? Everybody wave hello to Adam. Go ahead. Simon, what are you drinking?
Adam is drinking cocoa, and I'm drinking either Negroni or, I guess, Augustina or champagne. That are my three favorites.
There you go. And I'm drinking homemade hot chocolate with natural cocoa from Hershey's with a little bit of sugar in the bottom of a thick mug with a little bit of water, make a paste, add 1% milk, fill it 3/4 of the way up. In the meantime, take a pewter mug with a handle, stick it in the freezer for 1 minute. When it comes out, put heavy cream in it, take your little whisker, not your whiskers, okay, not you, Rob, but the aerator thing, and put a little bit of cinnamon, a drop of sugar on it, whip it up in the little pewter mug, then sit down in front of a nice movie with the hot chocolate, which you've microwaved for 1.5 minutes, not more than that. No, you don't want to boil over, don't want to mess the microwave, and then spoon the fresh whipped cream over the top and make a little design on it and sip the hot chocolate under the whipped cream, and it's delicious. That's my recipe. I want to thank you all for being here. If you want to stick around and chat afterwards, Adam, you too. I don't know if he has a prediction, but we don't have time for it. So let's go to our closing, and here we go.
Are you tired of hearing the future is already here?
I know.
We are too.
Yep.
That may have been yesterday's future, but today's future hasn't happened
Not yet.
Take a deep breath, tune out the hype, the noise, and turn up the volume.
Yes.
Savvy, art of the possible technology visionaries
You're all
talking
my
about how
visionaries.
today's innovations right now are shaping every aspect of our real future.
Real future.
We'll laser focus our spotlight
Here we
on
go.
buzzworthy tech like artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, augmented reality, and lots more.
So much
Clear
more.
your calendar and open your mind for Technology Revolution, the future of now. With the most upbeat host on global radio, Bonnie D. Graham. Listen anywhere, anytime, on any device.
Thank you, Ryan Treasure. Rob, I have to tell you, we recorded that about 8 years ago and it still works. So there you go.
Nice.
Everybody wave goodbye. Thank you all for being here. Stick around if you want to talk. Thank you to Jordan being our engineer for Voice America Media Business. I'm Bonnie D. Happy holidays to all, and I'll see you all in January. Goodbye.